How well can you lie? Do you think you're a good liar? I am a horrendous liar. And I feel like we all need to learn how to lie just a little bit. So I could really use some tips to save my life. But you know what is scarier than a liar? Not a compulsive liar, because you can tell when they're lying. Who you should be really scared of are those liars who live in their lies. Those lies are their reality. And sometimes they can't even differentiate between what is real and what is not. And they start gaslighting and those become their reality. But you know what they say? There are many versions of the truth. And in this video, you're gonna get many versions of truth from different people. And I want you to tell me, who the hell is lying here? This is the story of None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. Trust me, you will not be able to erase it from your memory after I tell you this story. Trust me. We have already done part 1, so if you have not listened to that, I'm gonna give you a really quick recap. But first, welcome back. Welcome, to the Midnight Library. I'm your host, Midori. Welcome. This is the place for you to enjoy a good story while you go about your day, or just to keep you company while you get your chores done, or maybe you just want to relax and indulge in a crazy stories. Girl, with that said, let me give you a quick recap. Our story today is about 2 women. These 2 women are born on the same day in the same hospital. They live in the same neighborhood right now, and they are both 45 years old. The first woman is called Alix Summer. I want you to picture Rosamund Pike. She's a famous podcaster. She's a journalist, a feminist, a mother of 2. She's married to Nathan. He's doing very well for himself, He tells her things like, my money is your money. And he really loves her a lot. He really loves their kids so much. But he has a habit of not coming home. Okay, he would go on benders, he would get drunk, and he would not come back. And Alix is really starting to wonder, if Nathan is cheating on her. From the outside, Alix has the perfect house, the perfect career, the perfect life, but she has been quietly wondering for years whether she still loves her husband or not, whether she still wants any of this or not, whether she wants to be the wife who stays home and wait for her husband to come back. The second woman is called Josie Fair. I want you to picture Elizabeth Moss. She's your plain Jane, okay? And no, not Elizabeth Moss. I'm saying Josie Fair. Josie part-time as a tailor, and she's a full-time housewife. Before meeting Alix, she only wore denim. And I'm not talking about denim jacket. I'm talking about denim jacket with denim pants, with denim belt, with denim shoes, and denim printed umbrellas. She also has denim printed curtains. And there's a reason for that, because when she met her husband, she was wearing denim. So she feels like if I keep wearing denim, I would be very lucky in my life. For example, she met her husband when she was wearing denim. She met her husband when she was 13. He was 40 years old. Okay, this relationship is not normal. It's not okay. She met him when she was 13. He was 40 years old, and they got together when she was 15. And then she lost her V when she was 16. Then they had 2 kids together. She's 45 now, and she feels like her whole life has to change right now, because she's still the same person when she was 13 years old. When Josie saw Alix in the restaurant, they were both celebrating their birthday. She was with her husband, and Alix was with her husband and her friends. And she approached Alix in the toilet, and she told Alix, hi, I'm your birthday twin. Then Josie got home. She started stalking or just listening to a lot of Alix content, because she's a podcaster, right? So she started listening to Alix podcast, and she can't help but feel like that is where she belongs. She should talk to Alix. Alix interviews really successful women, and they tell her their struggles. And Josie feels like, look at me, I've been through this. Look at my husband. I met him when I was 13. I have struggles too. I need to get out of my life. So she feels like she needs to approach Alix. So one day, she bumped into Alix in Alix's kids' school and pitched to her exactly that. Alix, you should make a podcast series about me, because my life is about to change. Alix's hunch is telling her, say no, girl, run for your life. But she also wanted to know, what do you mean your life is changing? How is it gonna change? And so Alix agrees and she named the series, Hi, I'm your birthday twin, because that's the first thing that Josie said to her, right? And over the following weeks, Josie tells Alix everything. How Walter, so Josie's husband, dumped her from the age of 13, how he was already married with 2 sons when they got together, but he didn't tell her and she didn't find out until she was 18 years old. How she had 2 daughters with him, Roxy and Erin, okay? Roxy is, I believe she's 21 now, but she ran away when she was 16 years old and she has not been seen in 5 years. Erin, I believe, is 23, so she's the oldest. And Erin never leaves her room. She still lives with Walter and Josie, so her parents, but she doesn't leave the room and she only eats blended baby food left outside her door on a tray. We don't even know if Erin is really alive because we have never seen her or met her or heard her talk, okay? Josie always just stand right in front of her room. She doesn't knock. She just doesn't go in. She kisses the door. That's it. She always talk about the stench in her daughter's room. So what is it about? We will find out in this video. Meanwhile, Josie is, doing the whole podcast with Alix. She has also been stealing from Alix because you see, they're doing the podcast in Alix's home. Alix is, I want you to picture like a rich lady. She has this home studio that is Hollywood style. She's rich. Okay, so in Alix's home, she has a studio, a home studio, and they're doing the podcast in the studio. Each time Josie comes, she would take something with her. And it's not like money or gold, which in this case would be better, I guess. She would take things like an espresso pot, a bottle of hand soap, a gold bracelet, a teaspoon. She keeps them all in her underwear drawer at home. One time, Josie kissed the teaspoon to calm herself down. She keeps the teaspoon in her bag. She doesn't even use it to stir her coffee. She just kissed it to calm herself down because she was panicking, thinking about her daughter who ran away and she needed Alix. And this teaspoon is Alix. And then the dinner happened. One evening, Alix invited Josie and her husband Walter to her home to have dinner with her and her husband. But Alix's husband, Nathan, was supposed to join them, but then he was on another bender, okay? He didn't make it to the dinner. So it was just the 3 of them. It was not a good dinner at all, according to Josie, okay? Then Josie and Walter left at around 10 p.m. And then a few hours later, Josie turns up at Alix's door. Beaten, bruised, her face is purple. She says that Walter did this to her and Alix lets her in. And that is where we left off in part 1. And in part 2, we're going to hear a lot of people's truth. But 2 people will die, and it all started with this podcast. Hi, I'm your birthday twin. So let's continue. Alix asked Josie, oh my God, do we need to call an ambulance? Like, look at you. And Josie's like, no. Walter was really grumpy because Nathan didn't come. And when he got home, he had a beer and then it got really bad. He called her names, he called her stupid. And then she saw red. So she went for Walter. You mean you attacked him? Alix asks. Yes, well, no. I intended to attack him and I know he might look old, but he's still very strong and big, and he overpowered me completely and just kept pounding and pounding on me. And then Erin walked in and saw what was happening, and then she tried to get him off me, but he hit her too. Of course, Alix is shocked because Erin is still a kid. She's 23, but she's your kid. So she asked, is Erin okay? Is she still there? And Josie's like, yes, she's fine. She is in a friend's house. And Alix is like, okay, but still we need to tell someone. We need to call the police or something. This is obviously not okay. And Josie begs her not to do that. Josie is not planning to go back to her house with Walter and Erin. She wants to stay here. Alix is like, we have to tell someone. What about your mom? Have you told her? Josie is shocked. I can't tell my mom. She would just say it's all my fault. She will always take his side. I just think that you need to tell someone in your inner sanctum. I haven't got an inner sanctum, Alix. I got Walter, the girls, Fred, her pomchi, and I've got you, Alix. Alix wants to say, no, you don't have me. We are barely acquaintances. But Josie is frantically crying, and you are not going to tell the woman that. Okay, let me just get you a cup of tea, unless you would like something stronger, Josie. Do you have brandy? Alix says yes, and she relaxes a little bit. Josie, she asks, any signs of your husband, Nathan? Alix says no, and Josie says, men. Men. She went from crying to this. And Alix says, please, Josie, don't ever compare your elderly, dead-eye, PDF gaslighter of a husband with mine who has a drink problem, but he's a good person. So what do you plan to do? Josie tells Alix that she has no idea, but one thing's for sure. She does not want the police, legal, or any DV organizations involved. If it's okay with you, Alix, I would just feel safe staying here with you tonight. Once again, Alix's instinct is telling her, no, say no. And Josie could tell that Alix is thinking about that. And she looks like she's about to start crying again. Then in Alix fashion, I think she's a people pleaser, okay? Because she agrees. Is it a good idea or bad idea? Given what you know, you tell me. Tomorrow morning, Nathan texts Alix telling her that I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. I shouldn't come home. And Alix is like, forget about that. Just come back right now. Now, what would you do? If someone you don't have a good feelings about is sleeping in your house, in your guest bedroom, or in your freaking couch, what do? You peek, you get a good look. They might be sleeping, but let's have a look. And so Alix does. She's peeking, okay? She peeks at Josie, and Josie suddenly wakes up. She doesn't wake up like a normal person. She wakes up like a vampire. It's like this, okay? She's sitting up straight because Fred pooped and peed everywhere. Her palm cheek pooped and peed everywhere. Josie sees Alix and she's like, I am so sorry. She's apologizing profusely. And what are you gonna do? If you are the host, if you own the house and she's there, you don't ask this woman with her face purple, clean up poop and pee. You are the host and this woman came to your house looking for help. You say, don't worry, I will do it. So Alix does that. She leaves the room and she bumps into her youngest, Leon. Leon is like, why is that woman here? I am scared of her. She looks scary. If you have not watched part 1, this is not the first time that Leon had seen her. Leon doesn't have a good feelings about her. Nobody in this house is going to like Josie, but Alix is like, just be nice. Just be nice. She'll be gone soon. Besides cleaning the dog poop, Alix also agrees to walk the dog for Josie. You know what that means? Alix is leaving Josie alone in her home, alone with Leon. And throughout the entire walk when Alix is in the park with the dog, she can't stop thinking about Walter. Because last night when she was alone with Walter, Walter told Alix, Josie is not who she makes out to be. Not at all. Josie just likes to control things. Was Walter lying? What did he really mean by that? Control what? What was in Josie's head? Is she thinking about good things or bad things? Is she like this because she grew up with a narcissist of a mother and then married a PDF? Or is this just her? What if Josie is actually mad? Bookmark this because we'll talk about this later at the very end because a lot of people have a lot of problem with this, okay? Back at home, Josie is alone in Alix's home with Leon, right? But Leon is in his room with something. He's minding his own business. Josie changes into new clothes. She's wearing Alix's clothes. White t-shirt, loose blue trousers. For some reason, I can't say that. She unbraids her hair. She ties it up in a ponytail. Then she looks at herself in the mirror. She looks terrible. Josie thinks to herself. So, what happened to your... Nathan just got home and he was shocked to see Josie like that in his wife's clothes. An angry man, my husband did it. Oh my God, that's awful. Yes, it's terrible, but only slightly more terrible than a husband who doesn't come home for a dinner his wife has cooked for him and spends the whole night out somewhere in his work clothes. Well, that was pretty terrible what I did, but it's an issue between me and Alix. Well, Not last night, it wasn't. It was painful for all of us at the dinner, and look at what it led to. The only way that I could persuade my husband to come here last night was by telling him that you were going to be here, another man to be here, and you didn't show up. He felt like a prized idiot. It was a horrible evening, and he took it out on me. Nathan is even more shocked because this is like the second time that he had talked to her. What the hell did he do or not do? Like, why are you in our business? How is this even related to him? But he starts apologizing to Josie. And that is Nathan, okay? He is not a bad person, but is he a cheater though? The door opens. Alix walks in with Fred. Alix is looking a little bit stressed and breathless because, she was thinking about Walter and then Josie, and Josie alone in her house. She ran back. Hi, Nathan. I see that you have met Josie. You two found each other. And Nathan sends Alix a message with his eyes like, oh my God, this lady is scary. Anyway, Alix, I'm just gonna go lie down. I'm still feeling completely shattered, Josie says as he turns and recoils at Nathan as she passes him. Then she walks to hide and listen to Alix and Nathan aggressively whisper shouts. Alix shouts something like, well, what was I supposed to do? And Nathan's like, freaking ridiculous. Josie turns and she walks to the guest bedroom. She opens her bag and she takes out a key. Then she remembers flesh, bone, blood, the taste of blood, the salty, sweaty hands, and the sounds of muffled crying. Josie takes the key and she slides it under Alex's guest bedroom mattress. Have you spoken to Erin? Alix asks later during the day. Yes, I texted her. She is fine. And they asks, Walter, have you spoken to your husband at all? No, I have not, and I don't intend to. So, how are you going to move forward with this? Alix wants Josie to leave without having to ask her straight out, without having to say, can you leave? So she asks again, maybe you could go to your mom's. And Josie freaks out. She says no, she cannot involve her mom. She doesn't want to talk to Walter or her mom. She doesn't want the police involved. She just wants to stay here for a while. Alix is hesitant, but she gives Josie a deadline. Next week, next Saturday, her sisters are coming over and she needs the guest bed empty by then. And Josie promises that she will be out by then. Fast forward to 1 year later, during the premiere of Hi, I'm Your Birthday Twin. The name says Mandy Redwood, primary school administrator. So if you have listened to part 1, you know that this is the school manager that Alix talked to about Josie. Alix Summer's kids, they're lovely. So I was very surprised when Alix came to me that day asking about the Fairs. They are two very different families. And obviously, I had no idea that Alix was making a podcast about the Fairs. Thinking about it now, I remember some things that I didn't tell her. Like the day when Roxy broke a child's finger and Roxy just stood there and the kid was screaming. And of course, we brought in Roxy's parents, so Josie Fair and Walter Fair, and they were just standing there emotionless. It was so strange. I thought that they were just shocked. But now that I know what was really going on in their home, it all makes sense now. Then the recording from the podcast plays. Alix asks, what did Walter do when you told him about the child with the broken finger? I didn't tell him. Roxy didn't tell him. His temper, we were all a little bit scared of him. Was he violent with the girls? No, not then. But he was rough. He would push them around, especially Roxy, but he was not violent. That came later. I have not been a good parent, Alix. I let bad things happen. I didn't stop them, and I just let it happen. I just want you to remember that this is Josie's truth. This is her POV. We are going to get perspectives from other people later, Roxy included. Okay, back to a year ago before the premiere of Hi, I'm Your Birthday Twin, when Josie is staying with Alix after the disastrous dinner. Josie wakes up to the sound of kids getting ready for school. And it brings her back, when she still had the girls, when she had her girls, when her girls were adorable and her husband was strong and handsome. But maybe that was never really the case. Maybe she looked at her life with some out of focus lens. Nathan makes Josie a cup of tea when she sees her, and Josie tells Leon, my children went to your school when they were small, but they're big now. Where are they now? Leon asks. Oh, Erin is at her friend's house and Roxy's off traveling the world. When Nathan leaves for work and Alix leaves to bring the kids to school, Josie is once again all alone in their home and she starts snooping around. She looks at the children's drawing and she's looking for any signs of stress or darkness because her kids used to do that and the teachers would always bring it up during parent-teacher meetings. But Alix and Nathan's kids are not doing that. They're drawing yellow suns, orange flowers, happy mummies, smiling daddies. Josie thinks to herself, these drawings are so pure, so perfect. She needs it. So she unpins one of the drawings and she slips it into her linen pajamas that Alix borrowed her. Then she rearranged the rest of the drawing so it doesn't look like one of them is missing. Then she checks Alix's calendar. There's a photo on Saturday and it says Zoe and Petals. So they are Alix's sisters and Josie feels a sense of relief. At least Alix did not lie to her. She smiles and she slowly traces the calendar with her fingertips. Then Josie thinks to herself, she can't let Alix see her like this, still in her pajamas when she comes back after sending the kids. She should look like she has showered and gotten ready for the day. So she starts walking upstairs. Alix's home has 3 levels. So we have ground floor, first floor, and second floor. There's no bedroom at the ground floor. This is the kitchen and living area. I suppose this is where we are right now. But Josie is walking up the stairs and she arrives at the first floor. The first floor has 3 rooms. One, so master bed for Alix and Nathan, one for Leon, and another room is a study. This study overlooks the garden. There's a desk in the window, there's a wall full of bookshelves, and it's a rich person's study. And in this study is a sofa bed. Josie thinks to herself, I don't really have to leave. This Saturday, I could just be here. Because I'm not ready to leave, not even the slightest. Then she walks back up the flight of stairs and she heads up to the top level where the guest bed is. It's right next to Alix's oldest bedroom. Fast forward to 1 year later during the premiere of Hi, I'm Your Birthday Twin. 3 people appear on the screen. They look like gamers. They look young. The man speaks first. Yeah, we know her as Erase. We always play games together. We didn't know anything about her. She always played with a green screen behind her. We couldn't really see her room or anything. It just looked like she was in an empty house. She was really quiet. She basically whispered. It was very unusual, but it was also what made her really cool. So when we heard the noise, that alerted us. Then we knew that something weird was happening. From your computer? Yeah. We saw her getting out of the chair and she never did that. She never moved. She just sat there. But she got up and she disappeared. Then we heard screaming, shouting, and banging, and then just silence. Her chair just sat there empty and we watched the chair and we waited. Then we watch. And then we started texting each other like all over the world because we wanted to know what was happening, but nobody knew where Erased lived. Nobody knew her real name. Nobody knew anything about her. One of the 2 girls starts to speak. We have a footage of everything. I called the police and they were like, what do you want me to do? They're on the other side of the world. So we just sent the recording to Glitch, the gaming site, and they told us that she's in North London. So we started reaching out to people out there and we became obsessed with this whole thing and it went viral. When we came close to actually finding out more about Erased, the whole story broke and holy crap, our minds blew. You might be wondering, what are you talking about, girl? You'll see. Remember this. Erased doesn't move, basically whispers. She just sat there and played games. Back to a year ago when Josie is still doing the podcast with Alix, when Josie is still staying with Alix. Josie is sitting at the kitchen when Alix gets back. You look better. Alix tells Josie. Josie covered up some of her bruises with makeup she found in Alix's guest bedroom. She tells Alix that hope she doesn't mind she used some of her makeup. Alix shakes her head, but she thinks to herself she's 99.99999% sure that she doesn't have foundation or concealer or any makeup in the guest bedroom. But Alix excuses herself and she tells Josie that she needs to get some work done around the house. And Josie is like, yeah, do that. I'll just sit here in your lovely kitchen. Physically, Alix is, doing the laundry, picking up things around the house, but mentally, she keeps thinking about Josie, in her house. After what happened, Josie is here looking so happy. She doesn't look like someone who was in a DV situation. I'll just take 2 more minutes with the laundry, okay, Josie? No rush. And there it is again, that strange, unnerving note of jollity. I have to tell you about Brooke, Josie tells Alix for the recording that day. She was Roxy's friend from school. Roxy never had a friend until Brooke. She was like Roxy, a daredevil. She was fearless. I liked her, She was a good influence on Roxy. She got Roxy studying and she was fun. But we were not a fun family. But Brooke was fun and she made us fun too. She became almost a part of our family. She lived in a tiny flat with 2 small half-siblings and she didn't get along with her stepfather. They had issues. So I think she saw our place as a kind of refuge. It was so lovely looking back until suddenly one day, just before the exam started, it was all over. Roxy came home from school and told us that they had a huge fight. She said that she punched Brooke and gave her a fat lip. Then we got a call from the school and then Roxy just disappeared. She was gone for 3 days, When we saw her again, she looked rough. She said she had been in a hostel and she didn't sleep for 3 nights. I ran her a bath and she was in there for over an hour. Then she came out and she told me what had happened between Brooke and Walter. He had been her all along, just like he did with me. All those times that she was here, when it felt like she was part of our family, it had always been more than that. And just like he did with me, he bought her a necklace, he took her to the pub, he slipped a shot of vodka into her lemonade, and then on her 16th birthday, he slept with her while I was at work and Roxy was at school. He invited Brooke and he slept with her in my bed. Alix asks, how did Roxy find out? Erin told her. They thought that Erin wouldn't know because of the way that Erin is with her gaming and everything, but Erin noticed and she heard them. Erin also saw Brooke leaving. Erin told Roxy about it, and that's why she got into a fight with Brooke. She beat Brooke bloody. But shortly after Roxy came back after disappearing, she left again, but this time for good. We haven't seen her in 5 years and counting. I know. I'm sorry, Alix. I know. It's gross. That's the truth about the man that I married. Did you confront him? No, not then. I pretended not to know. At that, Josie could see Alix recoiling at that statement. What do you mean you pretended not to know? Brooke, keep in mind that Brooke is 16 years old. But Josie sees that on Alix's face, and Josie quickly adds, that night, when we got home from having the dinner here with you, that was the first time that I confronted Walter, the very first time I ever confronted him about what happened with Brooke. And that was why, yes, that was why he did this to me exactly. If you can remember, Josie said that Walter hurt her because of Nathan, and now she's saying it's because of Brooke. It could have started with Nathan not being at the dinner, then escalated because of Brooke. We're gonna see about that. That evening, Alix tries to Google Brooke Ripley. She found her full name from her neighbor because that neighbor kid used to go to school with Josie's kids. Okay, so Brooke Ripley. Alix finds a series of posts about Brooke, missing girl posts. So she reads one of the posts. Please help. Anyone in Queen's Park area. My beautiful niece, Brooke. Oh my God. You made me jump, Josie. Josie is standing right in front of Alix. Shall we do more recording? Absolutely, yes. Let me just get myself a cup of coffee and I will meet you in the studio, okay, Josie? Alix heads to a room and something tells her to head up one more level to check Josie's room. Something ain't right. The guest bedroom door is wide open. The windows too. She sees Josie's own clothes hanging on the rack. The clothes that she came in is laundry, dried, cleaned. It's hanging on the rack. There's a tube of Alix foundation on one of the shelves. Alix has no idea when she bought this tube of foundation. She picks it up. She looks at it, hoping that it would, jog her memories or something like that, but it doesn't. And guys, let me just say this. If you're a girl, even if you're a guy and you use makeup, you sort of know. You have tried something, whether you like it or you didn't, or if you're just okay with it, you know. Fast forward to 1 year later during the premiere of Hi, I'm Your Birthday Twin on Netflix, a woman comes into view. It's Brooke Ripley's aunt, Fionn Roberts. Fionn is looking at a laptop and she's reading her own post. Please help. Anyone in Queen's Park area. My beautiful niece Brooke went to her school prom on Wednesday. She told her friends that she was going to meet a friend afterwards and her school friends said goodbye to her at the bus stop outside the prom venue. We have CCTV footage of her getting on the bus, but we don't know where she went. She's not answering her phone. Her mom and all of us are worried sick. If you have any idea who she was going to meet, please let us know. Fionn closes the laptop and she starts to cry. Back to a year ago, Alix is looking at a post of Brooke Ripley in a white fitted ankle-length dress with silver trainers. She looks so fragile. She looks so young, so unsure of herself, and it's so hard for Alix to look at this photo and think about what happened to her. Alix quickly switches tab when Josie reappears in front of her. Josie has two sets of clothes, her clothes and Alix's clothes. Josie is only wearing Alix's clothes, but she got her own clothes washed, clean, and hanging in her closet. Alix suggests maybe she can go over to Josie's house and pick up some clothes for her. And of course, Josie says no. She doesn't want to go back. Alix doesn't push it. Alix asks, so what will you do on Saturday? Where are you going to go? I suppose. I'm not sure. I mean, how would you feel, Alix, if I sleep in your study? You have a sofa bed in there, I saw. I suppose nobody's going to be using the study, right? Alix is losing control of this situation and she knows it. It's either she draws the line right now or never. If she does it now, Alix and her family might feel better without this lady staying here, and hopefully Josie can get the help that she needs to deal with her husband. If she doesn't, Josie can't keep controlling her, which is bad, right? But what about the podcast? What if they don't wrap things up by Saturday? Then there won't be an ending to this project. Well, let me just ask Nathan. I'm kicking him out because it's girls' night and he might end up in the study working on Saturday. I will let you know, okay? Almost every day, Alix is looking for reasons to not stay in her own home because she doesn't want to be with Josie. So she's always out at the park walking Josie's dog Pomchi Fred. It hasn't even been a week, but it feels like she has to run away from her house because her home always feels so tense with Josie inside of it. And Alix keeps thinking about the key that she found under the guest bed mattress. Why is there a blood-smeared key under her mattress? Why is Alix here and Josie in her home wearing her clothes, sleeping on her bed, using her makeup, and going everywhere around her house? Then she tries to picture Josie spending Saturday in the study, but the thought does not stop there. Alix starts thinking about Walter doing horrendous things to Brooke and Erin listening to while Josie plays pretend. and tries to get on with her life. While Alix is thinking about all of that, Josie is once again alone in her home. She's eating bread in Alix's home, staring at nothing and everything at the same time, thinking about how messy Alix's home is. Look at that bread tag. It's been there for days, and yet nobody made a fuss about it. Josie could never imagine doing that in her own home. Walter wanted things clean, and she kept everything very clean. But Josie is very happy for Alix. She can just leave it here and no argument would ensue. She stares at it. Then she runs towards it and she pockets it. That's not good enough. She starts snooping around again. And it's not like, again, let me look for money. No. Josie looks at the drawers. Inside one of the drawers, it's very messy, okay? It's packed with like takeout menus, stamps, all sort of random things. Josie sticks her hand in and she feels around until she feels a photograph. She pulls it out. It's a photo of Leon, Alix's youngest, looking, a little gloomy. It's a passport photo. Josie looks at it and she slides it into her pocket. Oh, how she wishes she could just go home right now, go back to her underwear drawer and look at all her trophies and add these to her trophies. Josie thinks, I could do that. I could go back. I'll go back tomorrow. She sticks her hand inside the drawer again, and this time she pulls out Nathan's business card with his company address and phone number, and Josie puts it in her pocket. Back to Alix. Alix is still out walking and she finds herself standing right in front of Josie's home. She sees the living room, blank walls, old chunky TV, open kitchen, denim curtains. Inside one of the denim curtains, inside one of the rooms, she could see the bed with floral duvet, pillows, denim cushions. This looks like Josie's room, Josie's and Walter's room. But it doesn't look lived in. It doesn't look like Walter is living here. She cannot believe what Walter did to Josie in this house. But wait, where is Walter? Walter is not sitting in front of the windows with his laptop like last time that she saw Walter. Josie said that he is always home, but the home looks vacant. Then she sees the bus and she thinks of Brooke all the way until she gets back to her own home. How would you feel, Josie, if I got in touch with Brooke? Alix asked Josie when she gets home for the recording. No. Why not? Because no, it's too much. I'm telling you what I want to tell you. I'm telling you what I need to tell you. I have to live my life on the other side of this podcast, Alix. I have to show my face to the world after this airs. And if you ever get her involved, I don't trust her. But don't you ever wonder what happened to Brooke? Of course. I wonder all the time about Roxy and Brooke. It's like my life ended that day and all the good things stopped. What do you mean? You still have Erin. What about Erin? Can we talk about Erin today? Your girls? After the Brooke thing, my relationship with Walter became a game of chess. I was like a pawn. I was always pushed around and I felt like I needed to protect this family from being judged. But after Brooke, I was doing more than that. I was in danger of being judged for having a husband who seduced girls and slept with them in her own home. And yes, I did go through his laptop and I found disgusting, illegal things. Walter is a pervert, a criminal, a disgusting and repelling man that I would never touch again. Not in that way. And I told him exactly that. That side of our marriage is over. But I continued to cook, clean, work, and I smiled at people. I kept my head down until 2 years ago. I told Walter I wanted a dog. I was sick of not having anything to love. And he said that we should get a Akita or something. A dog that he could feel proud of. And I said, no, this dog is for me. And I want a dog that I can carry like a baby because you ruined my babies. You ruined them. Because Alix, you see, by then, Roxy was gone and Walter had started abusing Erin. Every night, I fall asleep.
He gets out of bed and he goes into Erin's room. When I get up in the morning, he just sit there at the dining table and he acts like nothing happened.
Alix asks.
And, I mean, how do you know for sure? I just do. That man thinks that he's the king, you see. He lets me have my way here and there, have a dog, have dinner here with you, but he does it in a way a king would do it. A throne, treat. You have to run for it, you know? Everything in our flat belongs to him. So the minute that I told him that I was not his anymore, he took the next nearest thing. He took Erin. Have you seen anything? Heard anything? I put my earplugs in. I stay in my room until morning comes.
Alix curses out loud because, what do you mean? You just ignored us. You can't play pretend with Brooke and then now with Erin if this is true. Her job, Alix's job, is to be impartial, to not judge or react. But this is too much. Alix is also a mother. Josie sees that. She snaps.
What was I meant to do, Alix? It was so gradual. I didn't even realize it at first. I just happened to wake up to an empty bed. I asked him where he had been and he said he was talking to his kids in Canada, and I wonder what happened to the rest of the night. I thought that Erin would come to me and tell me, so I kept waiting, but instead she just went more and more into herself and she stopped eating anything that I gave her, and she had always been fuzzy, but she got fuzzier and then she started asking for baby food. She said that she wanted the stuff that she had when she was little, the thing from the jar, and she told me exactly when you used to feed me with a spoon. I mean, I assume it was some regression. She wanted to be a baby again, to be safe. But Josie, sorry. What did Walter say? I mean, you must have said something to him, right?
Josie shakes her head.
Was Erin restrained in any way? Could she have left home if she wanted to? Yes, she was free to leave, but she didn't. Walter probably got in her head too.
Okay, guys, if you have watched part 1, you know that Erin, we don't know actually for sure whether she's alive or not, but she is. We don't know her condition, but we know that she speaks very softly. She's always gaming. She's a streamer and she only eats baby food. Okay, according to Josie, Erin does come out of her room to use the toilet, but only when Josie leaves the house. Alix asks.
But how do you know that for sure, Josie? How do you know that she even comes out of her room? Well, you know, she would come and see me if she did actually move. Wouldn't she? She knows when I'm there. I feed her. I leave her food. And don't you think for a minute that I didn't want to see her, because I wanted to see her more than anything, but it just gets harder and harder each time. Harder to turn back and do the right thing. I stopped at her door every single day. Twice, 3 times a day I touched the door and I make my hand like this. I was going to knock and I didn't. And don't think that I don't hate myself, because I hate myself so much. I hate that it took me so long to break this, to stop this. Alix asks, where's Erin right now? I have no idea. Maybe an online friend that she knows from gaming. You must be so worried for Erin. Yes, I'm so worried about her and Roxy. And what about Walter? Are you worried about Walter? What will become of Walter? Will you call the police?
At this, Alix wishes that this was not a podcast, because she could see, like, she wants the camera to see Josie. Josie looks so angry when she says,
God, no. Why would I be worried about him? He's a monster. I despise him. I absolutely despise him. And I'm glad that he hurt me. It got me out. It set me free. And no, I'm not going to the police. That's up to Erin.
And that's when Alix pumps the brake, because Josie tells Alix that she had not spoken to Erin in a long time. She has not contacted Erin in a while. How is this even possible? Because Josie came to her house crying last weekend and she told Alix that she and Erin got out of the house. Erin is staying at a friend's and Erin was okay, according to Josie before this, because they texted, remember, according to Josie, but now she's saying that she has not spoken to Erin at all. Alix clocks it, but she doesn't say anything. Instead, Alix asks,
have you thought about going home and looking through Erin's computer? Maybe you can see if you find something where she is now. I don't know anything about computers. Well, I do. I could come with you, Josie. No, thank you. Erin will come to me when she's ready. She's free now.
Keep that in mind. What does free mean? It's 3 more days until Josie has to leave, and Nathan tells Josie that on Saturday, he's not going to be sleeping in the study, but Alix's sisters are bringing their kids and they will be sleeping at the study. So the entire house will be packed. Then he asks Josie what her plans are after Saturday. She hates that question. She doesn't know yet what she's gonna do, but she knows that she hates him and that question. When Nathan leaves the house, Josie heads to the first floor. She walks right into Alix and Nathan's bedroom. The moment that she opens Alix's closet, she is in heaven. She sees silk, linen, and all that Alix glamour. She wants to try all of them and look at herself in Alix's clothes. Then she turns to Nathan's side. She sticks her hand into his pockets, into each jacket, and she's looking for something. She wants to show Alix that Nathan is a cheetah. Josie pulls her hand out from each of the pockets and she finds a paper receipt, business card, empty chewing gums, paper clips, and right there, a tiny bag of white powder. Despicable, Josie thinks, just despicable. With a wife and children at home? She keeps digging and she finds a napkin with a number. But within that napkin, Josie also finds a hotel key card. Josie grabs the clear bag, the napkin, and the key card. Nathan asked if she had a plan after Saturday. Well, she didn't, but now she has a plan. When Alix comes back, Josie tells Alix that she will be going to her mom's on Saturday. Like yesterday, she didn't want to leave, but right now, she's like, yeah, I'm gonna leave on Saturday. Don't you ever worry about me. And both of them decides, you know what, it would be best to just conclude the podcast within this few days. On their last few episodes for the podcast, Josie details what exactly happened between her and Walter the night that they left after Alix's dinner.
I could feel it coming off him, the dark rage building and building. And by the time that we got home, I could not control my anger at that point. I felt it all rolling and churning through me like a storm. And finally, after all these years, I found the strength, Alix. I found the strength to hit Walter with it. Right between the eyes, I just screamed at him, you PDF, you me and you took me when I was too young to know what I wanted, and you did the same to Brooke. Then you abused your own daughter, the only daughter that you have left after what you did to Roxy. You have abused your daughter over and over again, and I let you do that because I have been programmed by you to believe that you are God and that you can have anything that you want, but you are not God, Walter. You cannot have anything you want. You cannot. And it stops tonight. What you are doing to Erin, it stops tonight. I told him that. Then I ran to Erin's door and there was my baby, my Erin, staring at me, and I told her, pack a bag. I told her that I was sorry because I knew what was happening and that I abandoned her, and that was when I felt it. A blow to the back of my head. I turned and I saw Walter's arm coming back towards me with the remote control. Then he beat me all over my face and my head, and Erin just stood there. She was so thin. And I threw myself towards Walter and I shoved him and I told him, enough. That is enough. And then he raised his hand to hit my child, and I just flung myself between them. Then it all stopped. A moment later, I just saw him sitting at the dining table like nothing was happening, Like I didn't have a split lip and blood dripping down at the back of my neck. It was as if he thought that we were all just going to pretend nothing happened and just carry on normally like we always did. But he was wrong. I grabbed my bag, the dog, and I grabbed Erin, and we left. Neither of us said goodbye.
Alix thinks to herself, it doesn't make sense because it seems like they had dinner, went home, then the fight happened, and Josie left immediately with Erin, right? It's not adding up because it takes Josie 16 minutes to walk here to Alix's home. She arrived at 3 in the morning, but she left the dinner at 10 o'clock.
Where did you go when you left the flat? I came here. But you said that the argument lasted only a few minutes, and no, it didn't happen when we got home. I didn't say that. It happened when Walter got out of bed, like he does every single night, and I told you we went to bed and I couldn't sleep, and then I felt him leaving, and that was when I confronted him.
Guys, was that what you heard? Let me know. Alix asks.
So you were in bed in your pajamas? Yes. And then you got up and you followed him? Yes. I saw him going to Erin's door, and that was when I screamed at him. But you were not wearing your pajamas when you came here, Josie. I put it back on. I was not going to walk here in my pajamas. But the dress had blood on it. How did the dress have blood on it if you were not wearing it during the attack? Alix, I don't understand what you are trying to say here. Are you saying that you don't believe me? No, not at all. But just, listeners are going to be hearing this like a novel. They will notice plot holes. It just needs to make sense for the listeners. Well, yes, I suppose. But you would think that the sort of people who listen to your stuff, Alix, would have some sympathy, some empathy, right? You would think that they would understand that when something like this happens, like what happened to me, when someone has been the victim of abuse, violence, and gaslighting, that maybe they might get a little bit confused. Yes, Josie, of course, that's true. So I just need you to unpick it and put it back together so it makes sense, as I was asking. Walter got out of the bed in the early hours. You confronted him. He tried to hurt you and Erin. Then you and Erin collected a few things and you changed into the dress and you both left together. Yes. And you walked here. And what about Erin? Where did she walk? The opposite direction. At 3 in the morning. Yes. Did she have things with her? Yes. I suppose, like a small bag.
Alix is not okay with this. What do you mean? You saw your baby and you were like, I'm sorry, I abandoned you. And then you look at your babies. She's skinny. She looks unwell. She can't fend for herself. She was abused by her father. And you left her to walk alone at 3 in the morning with a small bag in the opposite direction?
Josie, I really think that we need to track Erin down. It's been almost 6 days, no messages, no call. I know that you said that she would be safer out there, but what if she's somewhere worse, that maybe her online friend wasn't who they claim to be? I mean, it's just, she's fine, Alix. She's fine. She can take care of herself. But you said that you only fed her baby food and you said...
Josie grabs her headphone and slams it on the table.
I'm trying to tell you my story, Alix. My truth. And you seem to be trying to make it into something it's not. You either want my story or you don't. You can't have it both ways. You just can't.
On Saturday, the day that Josie is leaving, she wakes up and she tries to just drink in the last few moments of being here in Alix's home, in her pajamas, showering in her designer bathroom, and drinking coffee from her fancy coffee machine. She grabs her dress, her own dress. She smells it. It's clean. And it smells like Alix, It smells like spicy smelling shower gel and herby shampoos. Oh, you are back in your own clothes, Alix says when she sees Josie. Yes, of course. Josie replies as she hands over Alix's clothes back. Nathan sees Josie. He eyes her up and down and then he says, pretty dress, Josie. Josie thanks him, but she's gagging. I can drive you. It's quite a long walk to your mom's, Alix says. No, it's fine. I will just walk in the shade. I'm not in any rush anyway. My mom knows I'm coming over. Alix pulls Josie into a hug. For once, Josie lets herself be hugged. Please stay in touch, Josie. Get the help that you need and stay in touch. With that, Josie walks out the front door, and when she rounds the corner, she opens her bag and she checks on the stash of cash that she withdrew from many different ATMs. It's now held together by Eliza's pink glitter hairband. Eliza is Alix's oldest daughter. Whose money is this? Why does she need a wad of cash? You're gonna find out. Then Josie fishes out her sunglasses, which she found in Alix's garden this morning. It doesn't belong to her. Josie puts it on and she keeps walking to her next destination. Back in Alix's house, everyone is glad that Josie's gone. They are not celebrating because it still feels like Josie's presence is here somewhere. Alix decides to clean the guest bed because, the sisters are coming over soon. Truth be told, she doesn't even need to clean it because Josie kept it so clean, but she does it anyway. She opens the window, she checks the closet, she changes the bed sheets, and that is when she sees it. The bloody key is still here. Why is it still here? Anyway, Alix's sisters will be here soon and Josie is long gone. That is what matters. Plus, Alix is so excited for tonight. She is 99.9998% sure that Nathan will not let her down tonight and goes on another bender because he's desperate for her sister's approval. Alix even promised Nathan that she would do the freaky ding dong with him if he spends time with her sister. I'm not getting shit-faced, mate. I told Alix that I'll be home before midnight. I'm on a promise. Nathan yells at around evening as he's walking and talking to someone on the phone. Josie turns her head. She's disgusted. How could he even say this out loud? Walking out on the street. How could Alix even give this a second chance? She follows behind Nathan. She's wearing a new dress, not the dress that Nathan complimented this morning. Another new dress, it's nice. Not as nice as Alix, but it's nice. And it's not denim. Josie keeps following Nathan all the way to an Italian restaurant where Nathan is meeting his friends, and she overhears Nathan telling his friends that he's out here celebrating because he and Alix just got rid of house guests from hell. This woman, she just refused, to go to her mom. She just sat in our house all week wearing Alix's clothes with a face like someone just farted. And today, she finally left. Cheers to having my house back. Josie's face turned sour. Where did she go? No fucking idea. And I don't care. I have never felt less comfortable in my own home. The woman was a freak. Someone in the group makes an animalistic noise and they all cheers again. Josie pulls out her phone and she starts typing. He's at a table outside, the one with the flowery shirt and red hair with 3 other men. Can you be here in 10 minutes? Josie gets a reply almost immediately saying, I'll be there soon. A while later, a young woman approaches Nathan and asks, Can I sit here while I wait for my friend? Nathan is like, sure, take a seat. And she does. She takes a seat right next to him and she presses her arm against his. Then she pulls out a siki. Do you mind? Nathan is like, chill, man. I'm not at all. Go knock yourself out. But he's getting red. Not sure from the drinks or because of this young, attractive woman right next to him. She's wearing a black top, like a halter neck top, tight white jeans, and she got a hair of curly blonde hair. I'm picturing like Scarlett Johansson in He's Just Not Into You, okay? Are you okay? Nathan asked the lady. Yeah, it's just my friend, she's always blowing me off and this is the 3rd time in a row. God. That sucks. I hate it, when people do that to me. Yeah. It's so disrespectful. You don't mind, right? Do you like if I just stay here while I finish my drink? I'm Caitlin, by the way. Nathan, nice to meet you. Josie then texts Caitlin, bloody brilliant. Let me know when you have done it. I'll be waiting for you. What is she waiting for? While this is happening, Alix is at home with her sister and the kids. The kids are going to bed. It's around midnight already. If you remember, Nathan needs to be home by midnight. Okay, I'm not sure if I told you that, but yeah, he should be home by now. Her sisters are pissed that Nathan didn't come home. Alix is furious. Like, how could Nathan disappoint her like this again in front of her sisters? She tells herself, I will wait for 7 minutes. And Nathan is still not home. So she calls him immediately, but he doesn't pick up. Then it's 30 minutes past midnight. 30 minutes after Nathan should have been home. Where is he? Josie is thinking about how Alix would be wondering why Nathan is not home. Maybe she would even find the three little things trophy that she left for Alix: the clear bag of white powder, the hotel key card, and the napkin with the phone number. And Josie took the liberty of adding a name to that phone number: Daisy. Then Josie pictures Alix calling her husband Nathan stupid. Josie's phone dings. Another text from Caitlin. We are going in. When you coming? Josie types, replies, right now. I'm leaving right now. The next day, Nathan is still not home. So Alix confronts his best friend. This best friend is always out with Nathan. Wherever he goes, he's always there. If Nathan doesn't come home, he either goes to a hotel alone or he goes to this friend's house. Alix confronts Nathan's best friend, asking him to come clean because she found a clear bag, the napkin, and the hotel card. And all the best friend has to say to that is he didn't think too much about it, but he did leave the restaurant early, and Nathan was left at the restaurant with a young 20-ish pretty girl. Alix is furious. Maybe Nathan is a cheater? But that afternoon, there's still no sign of Nathan. He would be home by afternoon if he ever goes on benders. But this time, when her phone rings, it's not Nathan apologizing profusely or begging Alix to forgive him. It's the hotel calling Alix. The hotel's calling Alix because there was a lot of damage done to the hotel that Nathan was staying at last night. The hotel staff found his name card inside the hotel room. Alix rushes over to the hotel and she sees the entire room is ransacked. It's not like freaky ding dong ransack. The bedding is completely pulled off. The mini bar is emptied out. There's McDonald's on the floor, ketchup and fries everywhere, and a dong, in the bathroom. It looks like some cheap lace. Then there's a blonde curly hair in the sink, and the smell, it smelled like a woman was here. Alix is freaking out. Maybe Nathan is a cheater. Maybe she was wrong. Maybe Nathan is not who she thought he was. Then she looks closely at the ketchup. It's not ketchup. It's blood. It's red. It's blood. Alix immediately takes out her phone and she calls Nathan again. But it goes to voicemail. And she runs down the reception and she begs for the CCTV. And they play her the CCTV. She watches the CCTV and she sees Nathan checking into a hotel with a young 20-ish pretty lady. But he doesn't even look okay. He doesn't even look like he's ready for the freaky ding dong. Okay, he's drunk out of his mind. He can barely walk. Alix has never seen him this drunk. And this woman has to check in for them. She got blonde hair. She's wearing a black top and white pants. Hours go by and Nathan leaves the room all by himself. He leaves the hotel all by himself. Again, he's unable to move. He's bumping into things. He checks his phone. He puts it back and he starts walking away. When he starts walking away, a car pulls up right behind him. And it looks like Nathan and whoever was inside this car, they get to talking a little bit. And then Nathan just stares at the driver for a bit. Then he turns and he walks away. But a few steps later, he turns back towards the car. And this time, he gets in. He gets into this front seat. The car is a black Kia. That's it. That's all we know. Alix knows that Nathan would never sit on the front seat if this was an Uber. He must know the driver then. Alix thinks to herself, none of this makes any sense. Whose car did he think he was getting into? Who was he expecting to see at 3 in the morning? Then Alix asked the manager of the hotel, do they know who made the booking? Turns out Nathan made the booking. The booking is made with Nathan's name, but it's paid in someone else's name. It was paid with the card of Miss Erin Jade Fair. Fast forward to 1 year later, a woman appears on the screen during the premiere of Hi, I'm Your Birthday Twin. She asks, can you see down my top from this angle? No, you're fine. Good, well, I'm ready to start. Her name appears. Caitlin Rend. I wouldn't say that we were friends. I knew of her and her of me. I used to stay in her mom's estate when I was younger. I last saw her when she was 16. I didn't see her for years after that until I walked into the tailor shop and she worked there. I recognized her immediately because she wore the same clothes when she was a teenager. So we got to talking and I told her that I was a struggling actress and she told me that she had a gig for me. Her exact words were, I might have a gig for you. Give me your number. So I gave her my number and she called me after. She told me that her friend's husband was a cheater and she wanted to catch her husband's in the act of infidelity. Apparently, he had done it for years. And yeah, man, right? And this friends of Josie just refused to believe that the evidence of her husband cheating. And when I heard of it, I told Josie, I'm an actor. I'm not a call girl. And she told me that I don't have to sleep with him. I just have to, get him into a hotel room with me and she will handle the rest. And she said that she would give me £1,000 just for that. And I thought, why not? Anything for the sisterhood. I said yes. When I was with him and his friends at the pub, he kept talking about how he needed to be home because his wife promised him some sexy time. And I felt bad, And then I thought about the £1,000 but then I just saw him go. After the 5th tequila shot, I saw his eyes just go. I saw him just sort of go to a different place. And that was when I knew that he was not going home to shack his wife. Poor woman. Yeah. Poor, both of them. Back to a year before, Alix is standing at Josie's mom's estate. She's knocking. Josie's mom, Pat, is not home. Nobody's coming to the door. The next door neighbor heard the ringing and they were like, girl, what are you doing? They are not home. Pat is not home. Josie was never here. What are you talking about? Pat is on a holiday. Nobody's inside. Josie said that she would be here since yesterday and she had not been in her mom's. Her mom is on a holiday. Her home is locked. Nobody's inside. Alix rushes over to Josie's apartment with Walter. Everything still looks the same. The blank walls, Walter not sitting at the dining table, the denim curtains still half drawn. There's no sign of life. Then she peeks into one of the other rooms, one of the windows. It's messy. There's a pile of clothes and boxes in the corner. There's an unmade bed and an old gaming chair. This must be Erin's room. She rings the doorbell. Nobody answers. And she knows, deep down, nobody is inside this house. At least, they are not alive if they are ever inside. This house is empty. She grabs her phone and she sends a text to the London police. She had this officer on the podcast a few years ago and she asked this officer to check the plate number on the car that Nathan got into in front of the hotel. And it comes back as a rental and it was rented under the name of Erin Jade Fair. It was rented on Saturday. Alix is stunned. She reads it once, twice, 3 times, and she starts panicking. She picks up her phone and she calls the police and she tells the police that she thinks her husband is kidnapped. And then, breaking news, a gruesome discovery was made. Police and detectives went to a flat on the ground floor of a house after receiving an anonymous phone call from a woman who was worried about not having heard from her friend for a while, unable to establish the whereabouts of Erin Fair and her father. And after talking to the neighbors who told the police of loud screams and shouting late on the Friday night more than a week before, police entered the property by force. The remains of Walter Fair, age 72, were discovered in a bathtub. He had been badly beaten and left with his arms and legs tied together. Walter Fair's daughter, Erin Fair, age 23, was tied to a wooden child chair in a storage cupboard in the hallway. The chair had been customized with leather straps and leg ties. She too had been beaten and was at first assumed to be dead. But after showing signs of life, was rushed to the hospital where she is now in intensive care and coma. According to the neighbors, the Fair family had not been seen for a while, and Josie Fair, Walter's wife, has not been traced since the discovery was made. Police are currently investigating her disappearance and also the disappearance of a local man, Nathan Summer, who was loosely acquainted with the Fair family and who was last seen outside a hotel in central London in the early hours of Sunday morning, getting into a car hired using a cart held by Mrs. Fair's daughter, Erin. Mr. Summer's wife, the popular podcaster Alix Summer, had recently been recording a podcast with Josie Fair, and Mrs. Fair had been a house guest with the Summers for a week prior to Mr. Summer's disappearance, claiming to have been a victim of thieving at the hands of her husband. Neighbors say that the Fair family kept themselves to themselves and were generally very quiet. Since Saturday, Alix has been waiting for Nathan to just come home, waiting for signs that Nathan is alive and he's gonna come home. But, she's doing what she can. She's working with the police. But the thing is, Caitlin has not come forward. Caitlin has not approached her. Nobody who knows Caitlin has come forward. The police, at this point, they're not just looking for Nathan. They're not just looking for Josie. They're looking for palm cheese. They're looking at ATM CCTVs too. Because Josie, when she was staying with Alix, she emptied out Erin, her daughter's, bank account. She took out nearly £10,000. Then Alix is called in by the police. In front of her, in the police station, sits an espresso pod, a bottle of her hand soap, her bracelet, a gift from Nathan, a shiny spoon, and a drawing from her kid, and a passport photo of Leon looking grumpy. The police found all of this in Josie's drawer. They also found a photo of Brooke and her small siblings. And Alix tells the police, "There's a key. Josie left it under my mattress. It's small, it's gold or brass, I don't know. But it's just one key and there's a plastic tag attached to it. It says number 6. I don't know what it's for. I can give it to you." Back to 1 year later, during Caitlin's part in the documentary of "Hi, I'm Your Birthday Twin," Caitlin tells the viewers about the last interaction with Nathan. So Nathan was just, going on and on about wanting to go home and do the nasties with his wife. He could barely walk, but he kept saying, "One more drink, one more drink." And I told his friends, leave him with me and I will get him home. So they left. And I was basically told by Josie to bring him to a hotel, and I did. And it was hard, I could barely keep him upright. And he kept asking, "Where's Alice? Is she here? Is she here?" And I told him, "Yeah, she's just upstairs in the hotel. Come on, sweetie, let's get you up there. She's waiting for you." When we got up there, he said that he was hungry. So I got us McDonald's and we ate. And he drank up the whole mini bar and he kept asking for Alice. And I know that was bad. I just kept watching my phone, waiting for Josie to tell me what to do next, waiting for Josie to come. And Nathan started going nuts, telling me to let him go. He started throwing stuff here and there, knocking things over, but he didn't touch me. And Josie did not respond until like 3 in the morning. And she said, "Send him out." And I tell him "Yeah, Alix is outside of the hotel in a black Kia." So I let him out and I dropped my underwear on the floor in the bathroom, sprayed my perfume all around the room, messed up the bed, and I left. 10 minutes later, the money was in my PayPal. I assumed that was it. I could not have been more wrong, could I? Back to 1 year before. It's been 5 days since Alice last heard from Nathan. It's been 5 days of discovering horrors after horrors. All of this because she let one person into her life. Then Alex's phone rings. The police has got a guess, and that person wants to see Alix. "Do you know where your mother is, Roxy?" The 2 police officer asks. Roxy is Josie's youngest. Roxy shakes her head. I haven't seen her since I was 16. You should know that we are actively searching for your mother in relation to your father's murder and the attempted murder of Erin. Seriously? Yes, there's a lot going on at the moment. It might be best to walk you through from the beginning. So the police officer tells Roxy about the podcast, then the dinner, and then Josie turning up at Alex's home claiming that she was beaten by Walter, and Roxy is shocked. The police continues telling Roxy about the rental car and Nathan's disappearance and how Erin paid for all of it, but the police does not think that Erin planned this because she's in a coma. She's in the hospital. Roxy says, "My mother hated me. My mother hated my father. My mother hates my sister. She obviously took Erin's money to start a new life without any of us in it." But do you have an idea where she might be? A place that might mean something to her? She always talked about the early days of family life in the podcast with Mrs. Summer. Sorry. Mrs. Summer, Mrs. Summer. Who is this Mrs. Summers? She's your mother's friend. My mother does not have any friends. She's a friend, but your mother was also making a podcast with Mrs. Summers. Mrs. Summer was interviewing your mother about her life. Seriously? Yes, we have listened to the recording. They have been quite harrowing. Your childhood, the abuse, what happened to your friend Brooke. Brooke? Yeah, Brooke Ripley. She was your friend from school and had a relationship with your father. Then she went missing about the same time that you left home, and we are investigating the possibility that her disappearance might have been related to your parents. What else? What else did my mother say to this Mrs. Summers? Your mom also talked about toxic domestic situation in your home and the possibility of spousal CA and including alleged essay of your sister by your father. Roxy slams the table. Are you serious? My father? That's what my mom told her? She said that your father left their bed every single night and went into Erin's bedroom, then did not come back. Yes, because he was gaming with her. He was part of the thing, part of the act. The subscribers love my dad being there. He would just sit behind her and make wisecracks. He had a nickname, Pops, Erased and Pops, and that was why her stream was so popular, because of him. My mom didn't know, probably because she could not deal with anything he had to do with either of us. She was so jealous of him, She was jealous of the fact that we loved him and not her. When Roxy meets Alix for the first time, here's what she tells Alix.
This is all bullshit. What my mom told you, Brooke Ripley and me. Everyone hated us when we were at school. And yeah, we got close because of that. We got close and we ended up being together. And she was my first girlfriend. It was intense for a while. We were really in love. I didn't tell my parents about it. I only told Erin. And I remember this one time, it was around Christmas. Brooke was home with me. She was always around. She was home with me, Erin, and Dad. And Dad was making cookies. And we were all just listening to music. It felt like a normal family. And we are not a normal family. But just at that moment, we felt like a normal family. And I felt proud, We were all laughing. We were also happy. Then Brooke said something like she thinks that my mom hates her. And I knew, my mom resented her because she could tell how much I liked Brooke, how much we all liked her. She could tell that Brooke was important to me.
Alix asks Roxy about the fight that she had at school with Brooke.
Yeah, I thought that Brooke, said something about Erin, something derogatory about Erin. So I went in. I was stupid. School suspended me. I was a nightmare when I was young. But I ran away because of my mom. I wanted Brooke to come with me, but she was not ready. She said that she wanted to do her GCSE, then go to prom. She wanted to do it properly. That's what she told me. So I left her. And she disappeared after that.
Alix asks Roxy if she running away from home has anything to do with Walter and Brooke being together. And Roxy tells Alix that she has never heard so much BS in her life. So that means, according to Roxy, none of that ever happened. Erin did not hear Walter and Brooke in the bedroom. That is not Roxy's truth. It's Josie's truth. After Alix spoke to Roxy, she ends up offering her guest bed for Roxy again. Girl, you need to sign a contract with a hotel close by or something like that. You need to stop letting people into your house, girl. But Alix shows her the guest bed and said, your mother slept here last week and I found this key. Roxy said that she's not sure what this key is for, but his dad did have a garage at the back of the house. Maybe it could be for that. And both of them knows that they need to check the garage right now, or at least tell the police right now. We're gonna circle back to this. Just remember, it's going to click later on.
It's true. I was not ready to be a mother.
Pat tells Alix. Pat just came back from her vacation and she came straight to Alix immediately. In this part, you are going to know more about how Josie got together with Walter and how Josie's mother, Pat, was involved with everything, okay? She says,
I was not ready for Josie. She was a dark child. And yes, maybe it has something to do with me, but I wanted her to be independent. I wanted her to be strong and impressive, but she was so needy, I gave her as much as I could, but it was not enough. But it wasn't just me. She did it with her friends too, seriously. She turned psycho whenever I got a boyfriend. She would just play cruel tricks on them, insult them, pretend to be ill if I was going on a date, and then I started dating Walter.
Alix is shocked.
I dated Walter when Josie was 13. Josie didn't tell me that. Of course she didn't. And that is exactly what I'm talking about. Josie didn't tell you lots of things, and she let the world believe that her husband is a monster, that he groomed her, that he her and their children. The world needs to know that that is rubbish. You need to know that that is rubbish, Alix. Walter Fair is far from perfect, and I know I was wrong to have an affair with him when he was married, but he was a loving man. He was a real man, and he just wanted to love and to be loved. He wanted a quiet life, and what we had was very real and very intense. At first, Josie was very resistant to him, as she was with all my boyfriends, but then she got older and she seemed to become very fixated on him. She would try to divert his attention away from me and onto herself. She would put on makeup when he came over and tell him about how old I was and how fat I was. We joked about it at first, then the jokes stopped when Josie turned 16. Then when she was 18, they told me that they were going to get married and move in together. And obviously, I should have known. I'm her mother, but I wanted her away. I did not want her to be around me. I did not like her. I was happy that I didn't have to deal with her, but God.
And Pat continues to tell Alix that she does not believe that Josie was Walter. She believes that Josie wanted Walter and she got him. Guys, that is wild. I said this in part 1, girl. If you're 13, even if you're 18, 21, you are a baby to me. I don't know. I'm not even that far off 20 something. But when I do look at a 20-year-old, I'm like, you look so young. And I'm not even 40 years old, bitch. After the recording, Alix tells her mom that she thinks that Nathan is dead. That's her feeling. And Alix's mom would always tell her, no, don't think like that. But Alix could feel it. And she tells her mom, no, Mom, he is. I can feel it. All this time, I've been thinking that Josie was weird because she was damaged. All this time, I've been thinking that she was crying out for help somehow, that she needed me. But now I realize she was never crying out for help. She never needed me. She did have her plan throughout this. And I was just a cog. And so was Nathan. But why? Why would she want to hurt Nathan, Alix? She barely know him. Then Alix thinks back to the time when Josie told her about how Josie's life is going to change. How Josie thinks that Nathan is a cheater. How Josie asked Alix, how would she feel if Nathan died? Would she feel happy? And there's nothing Alix could do now. She's really convinced that Josie took Nathan because she wanted him dead. So After Roxy and Alix, met up for the interview, they had the talk. Roxy would sometimes check on Alix. She would call her, and Roxy would always apologize for dragging Alix into her family. The fact is, Alix got into this project all by herself. She agreed to do this project. She tells Roxy to not say sorry because she was bored. She was having problems with her husband, and she was so filled with anger, resentment, and rage until Josie came along, because her problems are nothing compared to Josie's, and it allowed Alix to not focus on her life but Josie's life. It was a distraction, and a part of Alix just wants to ignore her problems, and so that she did, and now here we are. And that is when Alix remembers how in one of the episodes that she recorded with Josie asked if she really loved Nathan, and she says, yes, I love Nathan. She clicks open the episode and she replies. In her headphones, all she can hear is Josie's voice, but the last sentence is what matters. Josie told her that she cannot be a feminist if she was married. To Josie, being a feminist means to be free, to be single. Because to be single is to be free. To be free is to be in control. To be free and in control is a clean break. Then Josie ends it with a question to Alix.
Do you ever think, Alix, that everything would be so much easier if they were dead?
Alix feels so stupid. How did she not see this all along? She loves Nathan so much. She hates herself so much for letting Josie into their life, into their messy, broken, perfectly imperfect life. The world that she thought that she didn't want it, this, waiting for her husband to come back. But now that she knows, that is the only thing that she truly wants. She wants her family, her home. She wants her bad husband and everything that comes with it. She wants Nathan back. Nathan never wanted anybody. He was not cheating. He was a great father. They raised their children together. He never went on benders when they had children together, but it came back. He had an addiction. He got rid of it when they were raising Leon and Eliza together. Then the addiction took him again, and he was trying so hard to fight it. He knew that he was letting Alix down. Then he was gone. He was taken by Josie. And then Nathan was found. He was found in shallow waters near a lodge where Josie was seen here not too long ago. She was seen drinking wine and staring out into the lake at the people around the lake. Alix phone dings. It's a voice message from Josie.
Alix, hi, it's me. I'm not sure what to say. I don't know what happened. What I was thinking was not my intention. None of it. The whole thing, I was just trying to be helpful, trying to show you how much better your life can be without him. I was just trying to keep him for a few days and then leave him somewhere else to find his own way back to you. But it all went wrong. It's a disaster. It makes me look like I'm evil, but I'm not. You know I'm not evil. You know I'm not, Alix. That's why I wanted to share my story with you, Alix, because we're alike. You and I, we are both idealized wives with disappointing husbands. We are both living in the shadows of the awful men who chose us because of what we represented, not for who we are. We both had more to give, more to offer, and now Erin will wake up and say things about me too. Those things won't be true, Alix. You have to believe me. Everything that I told you was the truth. We know that, right? You and I. You are the only person in this whole world that I can trust. The real me. To know the real me, Alix. You are the only person in the whole world that I can trust to know the real me. Alix, please tell the world that I'm not a bad person. That I'm just a normal person, coping with bad things, not just the bad things that I told you about, but the other things, the things that I wanted to tell you about, the real end of the story, the darkest, worst things of all. But I lost my nerves. I couldn't do it. And I wish I had now, because because of the stupid mistake with Nathan. I've blown it. Now nobody would believe me anyway, so please, don't believe the things that you hear. I'm so sorry, Alice. I really, truly am sorry. Goodbye.
Bestie, what are we thinking right now? What would you do if you were Alix? I know that I would be so furious. I'm going to track this woman down for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Tell me in the comments what you think you'll do. All right. Now, we're going to find out what happened on the night after Walter and Josie had dinner at Alix, the night that Walter was last seen alive, the last night that Erin streamed online. Erin is going to wake up and Erin is going to tell her truth. Shortly after Nathan's body was discovered, Erin wakes up in the hospital with Roxy near her. Roxy is ecstatic to see that, like, they're so happy to see each other again, to be reunited again, and they're so happy to see Pat, which I feel like is unexpected, especially if you have watched part 1, because like they get along with their grandmother very well. But Josie did not like the grandmother, so she kept the grandmother away from her kids. Erin, let's go back to Erin. Erin does not prefer baby food. Erin prefers soft food. And Roxy is like, okay, let me get you some soup, which makes sense. I think soft food means that, not baby food. And Erin starts crying because the memories of that night is flooding back to her. Erin survived a week being tied down on a child's chair with no food, no water, and she remembers sucking on the dirt water off their floor mop. Then she went unconscious while her dad laid in their bathtub. He was already long gone. Not long after the police found Erin and Walter, the police also found Brooke Ripley, Roxy's ex. Brooke Ripley was stuffed inside the boot of an old car inside the garage. Remember the key? That key is to that garage. It's correct. You know, it's behind the house. That garage is rented by Walter. That garage is right behind Walter, Josie's, and Erin's home. That car belonged to the Fairs. Brooke Ripley was still wearing her white prom dress. Fast forward to 1 year later, during the premiere of Hi, I'm Your Birthday Twin. Brooke Ripley's mom, Abigail, starts to speak. Brooke left home at about 6 o'clock. She looked amazing. I mean, she always looked amazing, but that night in the white dress, she didn't come home. We didn't know what to think. Brooke was a dramatic girl, you know, tantrums and such. She hated my husband. She was barely home, but I knew that this was different. I thought that she had a boyfriend. I didn't know about Roxy, but I knew about the fight. But it was high school. But I knew nothing about Roxy or that they were in love or where Roxy lived. And I had no reason to think that Brooke might be there. I wish more than anything that I have known that I would call the police. And they would go there and question them and that woman. And the screen cuts to blank. Then Roxy and Erin Fair come into view. The text rolls. Erin Fair was recently diagnosed as having ASD to compensate for living with her disorder in a toxic and dysfunctional environment. She developed various habits and coping mechanisms. These includes talking in a very soft voice, as some of her words are hard to pick up on. We have provided subtitles for Erin's spoken words, which will appear below. Now, I'm not going to whisper. I'm just gonna use my normal voice, okay? Erin tells the interviewer basically the same thing that Roxy told Alice, that Josie didn't want the girls to like Walter, that Josie did not like the girls herself. She didn't even like it when the girls had friends. She didn't like it when Walter got in touch with his kids in Canada. So he always had to sneak around to Skype with his kids. One time she pretended to go to work to leave the house only for her to stand right in front of the windows to catch Walter Skyping his kids. Josie also didn't like it when the girls was seeing Pat, their grandmother, because, you know, their dad had been with her. They had a very intense love affair, if you remember, according to Pat. But things got really, really bad in their family when Walter got a job away when he would only be home for the weekends. Josie could not cope with Erin and Roxy, especially Roxy. That was why she took Roxy out of school when Roxy broke Erin's arm, which was why it was an accident, by the way. They were play fighting and just sister stuff. Roxy was pulled out of school and she was never homeschooled. She just watched TV all day. And when the dad got back on the weekends, Josie would just leave some of the school stuff on the floor. On the table. So it looked like Roxy was still in school. Sometimes Josie would tie Roxy up in a chair. I'm guessing it's the same child chair where their hands and legs are tied up for hours. But when Walter came back for the weekend, she would just pretend that they were just this one happy family. But the thing is, the girls knew that their dad knew something was off. However, he always tiptoed around Josie. He wanted to make her happy. And then one night, Walter could not sleep and he saw Erin gaming. So he joined her and all her followers saw him and it was like, oh my God, is that your dad? And Erin told him, yeah, this is Pops. Erin liked having him around because she talked very quietly and Walter was there to give all the energies. Erin's followers loved him, so he started joining more and more. And they didn't tell mom because, mom would cut it right there. Walter managed all of Erin's subscription, accounts, bank accounts. Erin believes that Walter made Erased famous. Erin is so famous and good at the game that she was going to play in front of a live audience for the very first time. She has saved up enough money to do that. She wanted her dad to be there with her. She wanted to move out and stay with Roxy. She wanted to break free. And Erin suspected that Josie had a hunch that Erin was going to leave her with that. So that's why she made up the story about Walter hurting her. Erin tells the interviewer, she wanted to disappear from her life before she lost control of it completely. She wanted to stop all the freedom and all the escaping. Roxy had already got out. She was not prepared to let me and dad get out too, the interviewer asks. And what about Brooke? I was at home with my mom. My father was not in London that night. He was away, so it had nothing to do with him. Roxy was away too. And I was in my room and I heard a girl's voice and I knew it was Brooke. She was always around, Roxy's friend. I saw Brooke standing by the living room door. Her body language was like she didn't want to stay here. She was wearing this white long dress. And my mom was saying like, she's not here. She ran away. It's your fault. And Brooke kept saying, no, it was not her fault. That she loved my sister. And then my mom just hit her. She hit her so hard. And she told Brooke, see, that's why Roxy ran away because of you, because you are mad. Roxy hates you, She told me she hates you. Then Roxy turned to run away, but her footsteps was followed by a crack and a choking noise. I didn't dare to look. I just stood there and then it all went quiet and I did not leave my room for a very long time. And I told my dad what happened about a year before he died. He just shook his head and he sighed. I never told my mom. Why? Because I was scared. Scared that if she could do something like that to Brooke, she could do something like that to me. So what happened the night that she turned up on Alix Summer's doorstep? According to Erin, Josie and Walter came home and she started accusing Walter of embarrassing her, that she was so ashamed of him. And Walter just stood there and took it, as he always did. But that day, she called him a PDF and told him that he had abused Josie over the years. And Walter snapped the moment that Josie said that he had been abusing Erin. He told Josie that he does not want this marriage anymore. He does not want to be here anymore with her. He told her that you are stupid. And then Josie screamed like an animal scream. And then Erin heard a bang, a crash, and then it all went quiet. When Erin left her room, she saw Walter on the floor, his hand on his chest and blood running from the side of his head. And Erin immediately ran to him and tried to save him while Josie just stood there. And she said to Erin, it's too late. He's an old man. It's always going to happen sooner or later. And Josie turned away. And Erin was like, we need to call the police. Josie said she already did. And you know that she didn't. And then Erin asked, why did you call Dad a PDF? And Josie replied saying, he slept with her when she was 16. He was 43. That Walter is nothing but a sad, pathetic, dirty old man. Erin got so mad, she grabbed the remote and she ran at Josie while yelling, "And you are a murderer!" And she hit Josie with the remote. Josie, for a moment, just stood there and took it. Then she turned around and she pushed her daughter, Erin, onto the floor. Erin could barely breathe on the floor, but Josie puts her foot into Erin's guts and pressed it down so hard that she could not move, but she could only turn around and see her dad groaning. And then Josie said, "I'm not mad. I'm not stupid. It's you. It's you. You two drove me to this. You two. All I do is look after you both, and all I get is hate. I can do better than this. I can do better than all of this." Then she tied Erin to a chair, while Walter was left to die in the bathtub. That was why the house was quiet when Alix was here. 4 weeks later, Nathan was laid to rest, and Alix meets up with Caitlin. Finally, Caitlin is apologizing profusely. She really thought that she was doing something for the sisterhood. She had no idea what Josie had planned. And she keeps telling Alix that not once did Nathan try to make a move on her. Nathan loved Alix so much. He was never interested in Caitlin. He was just so drunk that he saw Caitlin as his drinking buddy. The entire time he was talking about Alix, he was showing photos of Alix to Caitlin. Caitlin tells Alix, "Just know, Alix Summers, that you had a husband who adored you, adored his kids and his life. A husband who didn't want anybody else, only you." Alix nods and she tries not to cry. That brings us to the very last episode of Hi, I'm Your Birthday Twin. And Josie is going to listen to everything, including this very last episode, and she will have something to say about this. But first, let's see what Alix has to say. Alix comes into view and she starts to speak. And that brings us to today, in the middle of a global pandemic. I'm not sure what the world holds, but tomorrow I'm collecting our lockdown puppy, hoping that she brings joy to our small family as we learn to live with the grief. Earlier today, a US production company emailed expressing interest in buying the rights to this podcast. And just 2 days ago, Roxy told me that she found a place for her and Erin. There's a lot to celebrate, but as a journalist and for you as listeners, it's frustrating, right? There's no real closure because Josie Fair is still out there. She may claim that she did all of this to secure her freedom, but she has none. She's trapped in a prison of her own making, forever looking over her shoulder. I nurse a secret fantasy that before I press end on this recording, my phone will ring and the police will tell me that they have found her because of the shocking and unthinkable crime that she has committed. A clever teenage girl left to rot in a damp garage. A pensioner husband beaten during a heart attack and left to die in a bathtub. The attempted murder of her own vulnerable firstborn. And lastly, the pointless, dreadful murder of my own husband, Nathan Summer, my partner in life, my children's father. We had our own problems, yes. In the weeks before Josie took him, I did wonder what my life would be like without him. But Josie took that choice away from me. She took a good father from his children. Whatever her reasons are, her psychosis, her childhood trauma, I maintain that she did what she did because she's evil, pure and simple. So Josie Fair, if you're listening to this, just know, do not claim to be a victim. Do not claim to be anything other than what you are, an evil motherfucking basic bitch. My name is Alix Summers, and this has been Hi, I'm Your Birthday Twin. Thank you for listening and farewell. So the show airs 1 year later with everything that we discussed, and this is what Josie has to say via voicemail. Alix, it's taking me a long time to know what to say to you and how to say it. I listened to your podcast this summer. Basic bitch? Really? I've been under attack all my life, Alix, all my life, and now from you too? When I first met you, I thought that you were special. I thought that it was some kind of destiny, finally. Someone who got me, who understood me, someone who realized how hard my life had been, and I gave you my truth, Alix. And what did you do with it? Turned it into some tacky true crime rubbish when not 1 minute of it was true, none of it. And as for Erin and all her lies, I knew that she would lie. Of course she would lie. Her and Roxy trying to make me look bad when it was them all along. The fact that you bought into their acts makes me think less of you. I am so disappointed by you. I really am. And I did not take Nathan from you on purpose. I told you that already. I explained. It was an accident. I was giving him the right dose, but it stopped working and he was making so much noise. So I had to give him more. How was I supposed to know that that would kill him? But still, you are holding it against me, acting as if I knew what I was doing. Acting as if there's something wrong with me when there isn't. It's the world that's wrong. You and I both know that. Fate has brought us together twice now, Alix. Once on the day that we were born, then again on the night that we both turned 45. Maybe it will find us again. Maybe it will find a way to bring us together again. And maybe then we can go back to where we were. I hope so. I really do. Please send my love to your lovely children, especially Leon. I had such a soft spot for him. A lovely boy, a delicate boy. Keep him safe. Josie. 16 months later, Josie is sitting inside a bus and she overhears two people talking about Alix's podcast. Yeah, exactly. It was like that woman, she was just creepy as fuck. You know, so creepy. And what she did to her children and the kidnapping that woman's husband, I was just like, what the hell? God, I know. All of it felt so sketchy to me, you know, the kids, the parents, the podcaster. I feel like Josie was not the only one telling lies, you know, there was more to it. I think the whole thing was just so weird, hard to believe that people like that even exist in the real world. Josie's watching them. Then one of the women turns around. Josie's shocked. Maybe they are going to recognize her? No, because she's wearing a face mask and her hair is dyed blonde. Then Josie clutches onto the golden bumblebee necklace that hangs around her neck and she starts to think about everything that has happened. Everything that she said had happened that didn't actually happen. Like the night when she came home and found Roxy kneeling over Brooke's body. Roxy was crying and telling Josie that she didn't mean to do it. Erin was just standing there in the doorway, staring and rocking with her hand in her mouth. Roxy asking Josie what they were going to do. And then they called Walter. Then they stuffed Brooke's body inside the boot of their old car and left it in the garage for months and months. And then Josie staying in the apartment, waiting to go to the police, waiting that someone might find Brooke's body, waiting for something to happen. Then Roxy disappeared. But just before Roxy left, Roxy told Josie, if you tell anyone about this, I will just say it's you. I will just say it was you. Josie is so sure that that is exactly what happened. That she has not been a good mother, but she was a true mother. That she has done what any mother would do and protected her baby girl, kept her safe, and saved her child from herself and her consequences of her anger, as she had always done. And she will continue to do that for her children now, tomorrow, forever, and whatever it might take. She had done nothing wrong. Not really. Not ever. All she has done in her own way is to take care of the people that she loves, try to help people, try to be a good person. And she's so sure that that is the truth. So very sure. And that is the end of None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. What are you thinking right now? Which version of truth do you think is the truth? I think there are parts in this book where like it gets so fucking crazy, you know what I mean? But before we get into what the internet thinks of this book, like what's the craziest thing of this book that is so very unsettling, if you have enjoyed the story time, be sure to like this video, show some love in the comments. If you think that some of your friends may also enjoy story time like this, share this video. It does really help your girl, you know what I mean? It tells the algorithm to push this content to more people like you and hence keep this channel going. And if you have got any books that you would like me to read and then cover, leave them down below, okay? Thank you. The internet thinks that the switch from Walter, the PDF, to Walter is a PDF but a good father is bullshit as fuck. A lot of people did not like the fact that Walter was portrayed as this like saint, good father character in the second half of this book. I mean, he was a PDF. He always will be. It's not something like, oh, okay, let me just look past that because that was in the past, you know? I'm just glad that nothing happened to Erin and Roxy. But he did prey on Josie when she was little, and Josie was right. You know, she was young. She didn't know what she wanted. You're 40 years old. Like, it's so impossible. 16-year-old is like a base. 16-year-old is literally this. Imagine I'm 40-year-old. 16-year-old, you are this. You this one is not developed, okay? Josie grew up with a mother who didn't want her. Then somehow her mother and friends decided that, yeah, Josie made Walter want her. And maybe Josie clocked that. Maybe Josie is like, oh, I do have that power. You know, that is in part 1. If you watched it, you know what I'm talking about. And then she's like, okay, well, I guess I could just keep doing this. I have the power. I am better than my peers. And you know what? If an adult ever tell you, oh, you are so much more mature than people your age, fuck that. You don't want that. Like, be your age. You should embrace your age. Don't feel like you need to be older than your age or more wiser than your age. Just be your age. That is the most healthy thing that could ever happen to you, okay? That's the best thing that could ever happen to you. Be stupid, okay? But I think that Josie truly she just wanted to be loved. She wanted attention from someone who would love and care for her, and Walter gave her that. And I would say that he took advantage of that. Did she get that from Walter eventually? Can she ever get that from Walter? I don't think so. A kid should be allowed to be a kid. And that kid, you know, grows up and, you know, reality sets in, life sucks sometimes, and hopefully you find good people. They'll be there for you and you for them. But a kid's mindset and priority is just so very different from someone who is middle-aged, and you can't rush that, you know? You can't rush life. Josie coming from all of this and getting with Walter, then having kids so young while still being a kid herself, likely created this toxic home dynamic. And I don't even think that Josie knows what it means to be happy and love. And in part 1, she said that she doesn't know what it means to love. So then, you know, it's only natural for the resentment and the regrets to come in, because you look at someone your age and then you see like, I feel like I'm still the same when I was 13, and look at that person. That is my opinion. So you let me know. What are your opinions on this? Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. And there's a lot to talk about in this book. You tell me. Oh, by the way, if you want to check out more mystery, thrillers, or just, you know, long story time, I did a love story. It's a space romance. But if you're not feeling really like that, you want like mystery from books, check it out right here. Okay. Remember to subscribe, like, show some love. Okay. I'll see you in the next one.